Listen, son, I want to tell you a story. Not a fairy tale, not a myth, but something real. A story with blood and bone and truth in every corner. It's the story of a man who stopped running from pain and learned how to walk straight through it. A man who, in a world full of excuses and distractions, chose to become what no one thought he could. His name is David Goggins. But this isn't really about names. What he discovered through suffering, solitude, and sheer will can teach you something about yourself too. His journey can show you how to rise if you're ready to stop lying to yourself and start facing who you are. This isn't a story for the faint of heart. It's a story for those who are ready to wake up.
The darkness he came from. David wasn't born strong. He wasn't born lucky. He was born into chaos, a world of violence, silence, and fear. As a boy, he was broken early. He was overweight, insecure, overlooked, struggling to read, and full of shame. Life didn't give him a fair hand. But deep within all that pain, there was still a flicker of something, a spark he didn't yet understand. And that spark, though small and quiet, refused to die. Most people stay buried by their pain. But David, he made a different choice. Not a grand heroic gesture, just a small decision to stop running and start climbing. And it was in that lonely, brutal climb that he began to rebuild.
The governor. The quiet lie of the mind. There's a trick the mind plays on us, one we've all fallen for. Deep inside, we each carry a voice, a whisper that speaks up when we start to push too far. David called it the governor. It's like a limiter, something inside that tells you, that's enough, you're tired, you've done your best, stop before it hurts more. The governor means well. It thinks it's protecting you, but really, it's lying. Because the truth is, when you think you're finished, you're probably only 40% done. The rest, your true potential, is buried underneath discomfort and fear. And you won't find it until you go past what's easy, past what's comfortable, and keep going when every part of you wants to quit. That's where the real you lives.
The mirror of truth. The day David decided to change, he didn't look for a mentor. He didn't ask for permission. He walked up to a mirror, looked himself in the eye, and told the brutal truth. He didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't hold back. You're fat. You're lazy. You're running from your life. But he didn't stop at criticism. He made a plan. He took sticky notes and wrote down exactly what had to be done. Real, specific actions. Wake up at 5 a.m. Cut the junk food. Study until you understand. And every day he faced that mirror again. It became his temple, his battlefield. That reflection didn't lie. And he learned to stop lying to himself, too. Because once you face the truth with open eyes, you realize you don't have to stay the person you've been.
The forge of the unbreakable. The world tells you that failure is something to be ashamed of, that it means you weren't enough. But let me tell you something, son. Everyone who ever did anything worth remembering failed, over and over again. David failed more times than most people ever try. He got rejected, knocked down, broken, but he never stayed there. Every failure made him sharper, tougher, more relentless. He came to understand that failure isn't the end of the road. It's the road itself. It's where you learn. It's where you grow. And if you can stop running from it and start learning from it, it becomes your greatest weapon. Your pain can either break you or build you. The mind must go first. The body can only follow where the mind has already been. That's something David lived by. Before every challenge, he'd visualize it, feel it in his bones, suffer it in advance. He would mentally walk through every hardship, every mile, every failure, every worst-case scenario. So when the real thing came, he wasn't surprised. He was ready. Preparation wasn't about feeling good. It was about facing the storm before it arrived. He trained his body, yes, but more than that, he trained his mind to accept pain, not as punishment, but as part of the process. Because once you accept that it's going to hurt, you stop trying to avoid it. And that's when you start making progress that actually matters. Suffering as transformation, the sacred path of the few. Pain reveals what comfort hides. Most people do everything they can to avoid discomfort, and they stay stuck because of it. David chose the opposite. He leaned into the pain. He trained in the cold, ran on broken feet, kept going when his body was screaming. Because he understood something most don't. Suffering is sacred. It's not the enemy, it's the catalyst. It doesn't break you unless you let it. In fact, if you stay in it long enough, it forges you into someone new. He didn't chase pain for the sake of it. He embraced it because he knew that through it, he'd find his strength, his clarity, and his freedom. There's no other way. Growth lives on the other side of suffering. Living like a warrior monk, armed, ready, unshakable. David didn't build his strength to impress anyone. He built it so he could stand tall when life tried to knock him down. Being armed and dangerous to him meant being mentally sharp, emotionally grounded, and physically prepared every single day. He lived like a warrior monk, disciplined, focused, not needing attention or applause, just doing the work. Because life doesn't care how motivated you are, it's going to test you anyway. And when it does, preparation is what keeps you standing. David knew that confidence doesn't come from empty affirmations. It comes from showing up, from suffering, from choosing the hard path. And once you've chosen that life, nothing can shake you. Lighting the fire in others. Eventually, David understood something even bigger. It wasn't just about him. It wasn't enough to become strong, disciplined, unstoppable. He had a duty to share what he had learned, to help others find their own fire. Because there are too many people out there who are still asleep, still numb, still waiting. They need someone who's walked through hell and made it out. Someone to remind them that they are not victims, unless they choose to be. David doesn't want followers. He wants warriors. People who stop blaming, stop waiting, and start taking control of their lives. His pain became his message. And his message? It's that you can change. But no one's coming to save you. It's on you. You can't hurt me. And now we come to the heart of it all. When you face your reflection, when you stop running, when you lean into the pain instead of hiding from it, something inside you changes forever. You stop needing approval. You stop fearing discomfort. You start walking with purpose, no matter how hard the road gets. Because you know who you are. You've met yourself in the fire and survived. And then, like David Goggins, you'll be able to look the world in the eye and say, not with pride, but with peace, you can't hurt me. Not because nothing hurts, but because you've already taken your power back. Success is a decision, and change is your responsibility. Listen to me, son. The world will try to convince you again and again that success belongs to the special ones, that you need talent, luck, maybe the right connections, or a gift written in your DNA. But let me tell you something clearly. It's all smoke and mirrors. Nice little lies people use to excuse why they gave up on themselves. Because true success has nothing to do with being gifted. It has everything to do with making a choice. David Goggins wasn't born exceptional. He wasn't naturally strong or fast or smart. In fact, he was overweight, afraid, failing in school, hiding from life. But one day, he made a decision. Not on a stage, not during a glorious moment, but alone on an ordinary night with tears in his eyes and shame in his chest. He decided that the life he was living was no longer acceptable, and from that moment on, he began his climb. Not toward fame, but toward freedom. You see, freedom isn't about doing whatever you want. It's about becoming the person you were meant to be, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how much it hurts, no matter how many old habits try to pull you back. Goggins understood that. He didn't become a Navy SEAL because he was strong.
He became strong because he refused to stay weak.
And this is the message he wants to leave you with. It isn't complicated, but it is uncomfortable. He's telling you that everything you want is possible, but it comes at a price. And most people, when they hear the cost, turn away. He didn't. He paid. In skin, in blood, in sleepless nights, in runs that tore his legs apart, in silence full of truth. And what did he gain? Not just medals, but self-respect. That's what I want you to understand, right now, without sugarcoating. If you want to change, you can. But you have to want it more than you want comfort. Because change means killing your excuses. It means waking up earlier than everyone else, training when no one's watching, studying when the world is sleeping. It means saying to yourself with unshakable clarity that your past doesn't get to define your future. A lot of people dream of change. Very few decide to earn it. Because real change is war. A war against laziness, against the voice that tells you you're not built for this, against toxic habits, victimhood, and fear. And to win that war, you need to make one brutal decision every single day. Today, I will do what needs to be done, even if it hurts, even if it's boring, even if no one claps. Because success doesn't come from inspiration. It comes from discipline. It comes from silence, from repetition, from invisible sacrifice. David Goggins didn't write "Can't Hurt Me" to sell dreams. He wrote it to break chains, to speak to the broken, to show people they can rewrite their story, to remind you that every single day is a crossroads. Stay comfortable or become powerful. The truth is, you are not a victim. You are a builder. And if you don't like who you are, you have every right and every responsibility to become someone else. It doesn't matter how many times you failed. It doesn't matter what people say. What matters is what you choose to do today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for someone to save you. Save yourself. Because in the end, success won't be measured by how much you have. It will be measured by how much you've transformed yourself, by how deep you had to dig when everything around you was falling apart, by how many excuses you burned to build, from the ashes, a life that finally feels like yours. And so, if today you feel lost, small, stuck, that's all right. We all start there. But now you know there's a path. Not an easy one, not a fast one, but a real one. And if you choose to walk it, you will not come out the same. Goggins doesn't promise it'll be easy. He promises it will be possible. And that, son, is all you really need to know.